It's Wednesday, the 3rd of August 2022. Welcome to the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's jump into it. Big one to kick us off this morning. Of course, the decision by the Reserve Bank of Australia yesterday to lift the official cash rate by 0.5 percentage point. That's going to push the standard variable mortgage rate to around 6%.
The official cash rate is now 1.85%, up from just 0.1% 3 months ago. If the full 0.5 percentage point from yesterday is passed on to mortgage borrowers, and it will be, then that's an extra $708 a month in repayments for a $750,000 loan since rates began to rise back in May. That is a big chunk of money. The Reserve Bank Board, in a statement after the announcement, said it placed a high priority on returning inflation to the 2 to 3% range over time while keeping the economy on an even keel. So, what about the future? Well, the bank said the move yesterday was a further step in the normalisation of monetary conditions in Australia, and the board expects to take more of those steps in the months ahead, i.e. rates are on the rise. Still, bond markets are now pricing in a cash rate of 3% by December, even more next year before rates start falling again. Even if bond markets have overstated the likely rise, investors believe there are a few more rate hikes to come, so the standard variable mortgage rate you're paying on your home loan could easily hit 7% or more.
Ooh, ouch. All right, thanks for that, Sean. Story number 2, lots of theatre, lots of drama happening in Canberra at the moment. The federal Greens are split over whether to support the Albanese government's climate legislation, and it's significant because their vote is critical to the legislation getting passed.
According to media reports, some in the Greens are not comfortable supporting the 43% emissions reduction target by 2030 because they don't believe it's enough. They fear it would be seen as giving up in the climate change fight and say it doesn't do enough to address coal and gas exports. Labor, of course, needs the Greens' support, plus one more vote, to pass the Senate. The coalition yesterday formally agreed to reject Labor's legislation, but it did say it will take a new emissions reductions target to the next election.
Okay, story number 3, Sean. I love this one. A federal court judge has slammed legal actions brought by mining magnate Clive Palmer and Western Australian Premier Mark McGowan as a waste of court resources after ruling that the two men defamed each other but awarded damages worth far less than their legal costs.
Justice Michael Lee awarded Mr Palmer $5,000, that's all, in damages for 6 defamatory statements made by Mr McGowan. And Justice Lee awarded the Western Australia Premier $20,000 in damages for 9 defamatory statements made by the Palmer United Party founder. Justice Lee said the court had controversies of real importance to deal with and described the case as a waste of taxpayer money. My favourite quote though, Michael, "The game has not been worth the candle." According to the WA budget last September, the state had already spent nearly $1.5 million fighting the legal actions. Mr McGowan again got $20,000.
Wow. Okay. Story number 4, Sean. It seems that building a house is now much more expensive.
Yes, figures from the Bureau of Statistics yesterday showed that the average approval value for a new house is up 20% from a year ago. So building a house is that much more expensive. Quite incredible. It came as there was a bunch of data out yesterday from the Bureau. There was a big drop in new loan commitments, though people wanting to take out a loan still remains at historically high levels. In fact, owner-occupiers are up 50% from pre-pandemic levels. Investors are up 100% from then. There's also been a big tumble in fixed-term personal finance. In fact, it fell 15% during June. That's the second largest fall recorded by the Bureau of Statistics. A big driver of that, and pardon the pun, was a big fall in lending for automobiles.
All right, finally, Sean, story number 5. The A2 Milk Company is close to getting the tick of approval to sell baby formula into the United States.
Yes, regular listeners of Fear and Greed will have heard us talking plenty about Bubs Australia gaining access to the lucrative infant formula market in the US as a result of manufacturing problems in that country. Now, one of its major competitors, A2, has had a very tough couple of years. In fact, its share price is about 25% of what it was in July 2020. Yesterday, it said its application to sell into the US was under active review. That is a very positive sign. It sent its share price up 7.5% yesterday. Finally, some good news for long-suffering shareholders.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Wednesday, the 3rd of August, 2022. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough for you, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.